What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
After beating the Clippers 126-94, and the Nets were down 18, but came back to beat the Warriors 128-120, and the Thunder topped the Kings 130-109.
It's time. You know what time it is? Time. Game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
And a big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game. It is Iron Bowl week, and we're going to be here. We're going to talk about it. It is a Southern Ale House score prediction day. We're going to give away a large package and give a chance to win some great goodies, including a Daniel Moore 2025 calendar. We'll do a print as well, a mini print. We'll also have a chance to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about, the biggest difference between Alabama, and you go to player availability. I just left from player availability about 90 minutes ago, left the football building or the football practice facility, and you hear Alabama players, right? You cover Alabama, and that's the team I cover. I don't cover a team across the state. When you look at the SEC, certainly we cover indirectly. But when you go to player availability and you understand when you cover the University of Alabama, the players are coached not to give any material, right? They're not going to provide anything. And I know there's been a lot of twist around when you look at Jalen Milroe and you twist it around to make it look like Jalen Milroe said something bad. Listen, I'll throw darts at Jalen Milroe when the opportunity's there, but he didn't say anything. And I'm seeing a statewide media that are now trying to make something out of nothing, right? When you listen to it, and not there. When you look at it, and I don't even know who that is. Let him talk. I mean, hey, let him talk. I almost think that this is purposely done. I think Auburn's doing it maybe as a little bit of a distraction. I think when you listen at the way that they're throwing out some buzz, the way that they're discussing this, in my opinion, I think this is more of a distraction, and we'll see if Alabama fights in. But I also think that Alabama's got to defend their home turf, right? Auburn coming in 5-6. They're trying to come in with a winning record, try to flip this. I say winning record, but to even go 500, not have a losing record. When you look at the Auburn Tigers, there's a lot on this game. I think when you look at the importance of this game, I don't think I need to sit here for 5 minutes, even 10 minutes, and talk about the importance of this game, right? When you think about the Iron Bowl, I think you go back to Coach Paul Bear Bryant. Sure, I'd love to beat Notre Dame, but nothing means more than beating that Cal College across the state. And when you look at Hugh Hefner Freeze, I think when you look at the integrity that he lacks thereof, it's a coach that when you study him and you talk to people who know him, a lot of the shady stuff that went on at Ole Miss still happening there, but now it's legal, right? Now it's legal when you look at it. But integrity, I'd have a problem sitting on any church pew with him, because I know he prances around talking about his faith. Him and I don't serve the same person. I'll just say that. Leave it at that. But when you look at Hugh Freeze and his integrity, I think, like I said, I think this is purposely done. I think they threw it out there. I think that it's more of a distraction. I think it's trying to fuel that distraction. And we'll see. We'll see if Alabama falls into the trap or if they mind it business. I will tell you that there was a good energy in the building. I think there was, when you listen to the players, I think there's a focus on understanding that this is the Iron Bowl. This is the Iron Bowl. This is a game, when you look at it and when you think about it, you lose this one, and it's going to be a little bit of a trouble, right? And I think from an Auburn perspective, it could be the same way. I think if you lose this game, if you have a chance to knock out, your arch rival, the team that you want to be, but you can't be because your trophy cabinet's empty. But I think when you look at this game and you get a chance and an opportunity, Alabama's down a little bit, right? I mean, they are. I mean, we're talking about a team that has lost 3 football games. Your sharks in the water, right? You're circling they smell blood in the water. But if you look at Alabama, if you can't beat them now, when are you ever going to beat them, right? So it's Iron Bowl week. And, hey, it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of throwing out some darts. And I'll be curious to hear your confidence in this Alabama football team. Can they go and win this Iron Bowl? And what would that do for Kalen DeBoer and his coaching staff? Because, obviously right now a lot of people are upset about 24-3 loss at Oklahoma. Rightfully so. When you go there and play the way that Alabama did, I think it's really in a lot of ways it's unacceptable, right? When you look at the University of Alabama, not to be an energized football team, and I think this team does have a little something on their mind. We'll see if they bounce back. But Auburn's coming here, and really they can pull out all the stops, right? They don't have to stop at anything. They're not going to risk anything. So we'll talk to Mike Detillier. We'll talk about the Iron Bowl. We'll get his thoughts on the performance at Oklahoma and what Alabama can do to take care of the Auburn Tigers, certainly with a quality defense and a big defensive line, and they're going to present a lot of challenges. And that's what I heard from the Alabama players. It wasn't talking about, hey, we're going to whip this. They were pretty much showing respect, even though in some areas maybe Auburn doesn't deserve that respect, but they gave it to them. And I think that's the biggest difference between class and, the other part. I'll let you leave the fill in the blank. But when you look across the state, so it kind of gives you an understanding of, and I think if you want to compare, because we compare everything, right? We compare quarterback to quarterback, running back to running back, linebacker to linebacker. I think when you look at a human being, you look at Kalen DeBoer and you compare him to Hugh Freeze. I don't know. That's like comparing Jesus and Satan, if you ask me. But anyway, we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. And I'm not comparing Kalen DeBoer to Jesus. That's not what I'm doing. But I think there's that big of a difference when you look at a human being with Hugh Freeze and some of the behavior. One day, those stories over in Oxford, Mississippi, will be told. I've got friends of mine that have employed there that still draw a check from that university. Some of the things I hear, you think we know it all. No, we don't know it all. We don't know it all. We think we know it all, but when you hear stories from Ole Miss, and like I said, now it's legal. So when you look at Oxford, Mississippi, one day those stories will be told, and I hope some of those people that were done wrong will get their day in justice. And I know the college football world is a nasty business, but hey, still got to have integrity regardless of what job you do. We'll dive into it. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We'll take your scores. We'll take your predictions. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. We'll talk to Paul in Lincoln. We'll talk, he's going to be first up. Mike Detillier coming up. Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Bubba in Northport, Bryce in San Antonio. It is Alabama and the Iron Bowl. It's Alabama and Auburn. This is what it all comes down to. You get a chance to kind of salvage your season a little bit, have a chance for, maybe make some rights, some wrongs, some rights when you look at it. So we're powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. We'll continue with more of the game right here. Mike Detillier. We break down college football. We'll talk to Brad Edwards coming up a little bit later right here on the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Come back. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide.
Yeah, it's Alabama and LSU, and we've talked about that quite a bit. But when you look outside, this rivalry means something it should, and we'll see how Alabama responds. Let's talk with Mike Detillier, WWL, the Big 870. Hey, Mike, I hope all is well, my friend. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
All right, Mike, you're always a guy that gives us a fair observation, good or bad. Let's go to the 24-3 whipping we took out Norman, Oklahoma. Give me your takeaway.
Well, we talked about it last week as part of the schizophrenic nature of this Alabama football team. It was last week, and it was again Saturday. Which one are you going to catch from Saturday to Saturday? I thought offensively they were misjointed. They didn't do anything correct. They got beat up front by Oklahoma. You got beaten in the trenches by Oklahoma. Defensively, they acted as though they had never seen a running quarterback. They reminded me of LSU when they played Milroe. Like they'd never seen that before. Totally out of position. And Jackson Arnold, I thought he did a great job running the ball. He was efficient. He's never going to be a great quarterback because, I don't think he throws the ball well enough, but he was 9 of 11. Wasn't a lot, but they didn't need a lot. The turnovers were devastating, absolutely devastating. So what you got here is a schizophrenic football team. You don't know how you're going to catch them day to day, week to week, on both sides of the football. Ryan, and you saw that Saturday, and you see with Milroe, and, he plays well, and then he doesn't play well. And, that was a horrific effort on his part. He threw up some lollipops, but he also had a lot of pressure on him. He didn't have a running game going for him. And, Ryan, it's welcome into the world of college football. It's the reality check for Alabama fans, LSU fans, Ole Miss fans. They all got a dose of it this week. This is what's going to happen in the SEC. Cannibalization. We talked about it last week. Cannibalizing on one another. The thought anybody would have had to go to a 9th SEC game, if you weren't convinced before, you were convinced Saturday.
Amen.
Ain't happening.
Amen.
I'm not voting for that.
Come on, Mike. I mean, listen, Nick Saban, I love you. You're the greatest to ever walk the sidelines. But the only reason why you wanted that 9th and 10th conference game, because he campaigned for 10. Remember, he backed off to 9.
Sure did.
But the only reason why is he was the only one that could handle it. Nobody else could handle it. That he was almost teasing them. But, Coach, we love you, but you were wrong. There is no way this league needs to go to 9. None. Zero.
I think down the line, Ryan, TV will force them to go to a 9. I really do. I think somewhere in our lifetime, you will see TV say, you know what, 8's great, but we want a 9th, and this is what we're willing to pay you to play 9. But right now, you don't have a big enough barrel of a gun to put to my head for me to vote for a 9th SEC game. Not based off of this year. And we just saw a little bit. There is more chaos that's going to happen, okay, or potentially happen in the SEC. We saw, what Auburn did with Texas A&M. That's another example of it. And it's everybody's biting at your heels every week when you play in the SEC. And, it's something that I think for a lot of fans who are used to seeing a certain brand of football, it's changed in front of your very eyes this year. Every once in a while, you'll have a great team. Everything works together. Like what we saw 2019 for LSU. I thought that Alabama team of 2020 was underrated for what it did. Man, they could step in the ring with anybody. And so I think every once in a while, we'll see that. But, Ryan, I think we're going to see a lot more of what we saw this year. And the transfer portal gives you no depth at any position, virtually. If a guy, your depth is a freshman or a redshirt freshman, a sophomore, he ain't played. Nobody's got it. And it's the ever-changing world of college football. But you know what? Doesn't it get ratings? Ryan, we've had the highest ratings ever on WWL radio for LSU football. Wow. In a season that'll probably end up being an 8-win team for LSU. Ever. Look at the TV ratings for college football.
Yeah, the interest is there. The interest is there. It is, when you look at it, Mike, go into this Iron Bowl game. No, I tell you what, I'm gonna stay with the Oklahoma game. Mike, because of the parity that you and I have been talking about for the last 2 years, and we've now watched it come to fruition right here in front of our eyes, we also put more pressure on the officials. How bad of a call was that? And I'm not telling you that it would have flipped the game, but it would have made it a little bit more respectable. And who knows? The ball bounces funny. When you look at the SEC officials, 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, what a disaster of a call from the Southeastern Conference. Incompetence.
That's the only thing. I watched it at least 3 times. What did he do wrong? Again, I get DeBoer, getting on the officials about it.
I'm not sure I'd have let him took another snap. I'd have come to the middle of the field. They'd have kicked me out of that game.
But, I mean, my thing is, when it happens and it's a bad call, what do they do to an official?
Zero.
Nothing.
Mike, I can't even get the SEC to release a statement on it. They said they don't release statements on judgment calls. I sent them the Texas-Georgia judgment call that they sent out a press release for. That they respond with a lame response that we don't give out a response. Transparency is the key, Mike. You must communicate. You must communicate. In the business that you and I are in, if we don't let our audience know something, it's transparency. We must let them. Now, we don't let them know all the secrets, but communication creates or removes the doubt.
I think now with what you have in your hand, you can see that play over and over and over again. It's unbelievable. But my thing about the SEC, and this comes from the top with Greg Sankey, he wants no negativity about the Southeast Conference. I get it. But you know what? People make mistakes. You make mistakes as a player. You make mistakes as a coach. You make mistakes as an assistant coach, head coach. Everybody makes it. But you're telling me your officials don't. That's the story he tries to sell to everyone. Our guys don't. We had 2 NFL officials who are involved in college football in grading games. Last year when Dallas Turner hit Jaden Daniels, they both said targeting. How could they have missed it? Wasn't called.
Bring them into the media room, Mike. If a coach makes a mistake, you think it was easy for Jalen Milroe to face the media in Norman, Oklahoma? You think it was easy for Kalen DeBoer to face the media, every other player that had to go in and answer? Bring the officials in. We're not saying that you're not human. We're not saying that you don't make mistakes. But allow them to explain what happened. What happened?
I agree. I agree with you, Ryan. And my thing is, if you're asking a 20, 21-year-old young man to get in front of the media and answer all these questions, but you're not willing to put a grown-up who's had experience in front of people to be asked questions, what does that say about you? It's hypocrisy at the highest level with the SEC. And this wasn't just this call, but that call was so obvious that it was wrong. So obvious it was wrong. Just like I think the targeting with Dallas on Jaden was obvious. That he went for it. But you never hear anything about either one of the 2 plays, and that's shameful. It really is, because here we have the greatest players in the greatest league in college football, and you got half-ass officiating. Hate to use the term, but that's what you got.
Mike, you're a guy that lives in this region. What does the Iron Bowl, when you look at it in the world of college football, mean to you?
It's one of the biggest rivalries in college football. I would agree with that. How we look at it is certainly regional. I think when you look at the SEC, you think about, Tennessee. Who is their main rival? It's Alabama, isn't it?
Sure.
That game is it for them. I've talked to Peyton Manning about it. Peyton said, that was the game. He said, we played Florida, and that was a big game, but it was nothing like outplaying Alabama. LSU, Alabama, I think because of the talent and because of what was at stake so many times over the last 15, 16 years, certainly gets a lot of, part in there. That's some debate you could put in there. We'll see what happens. At one time, Texas A&M was big. It was regional, because that's what we're talking about here. It was regional, but that was huge. Just like at one time, Miami of Florida and Florida State. That was the game you wanted to watch. They had talent all over the field. It looked like a pro game. So Alabama-Auburn, to me, represents that tradition for both teams, and how these games have ended in such chaotic manners a lot of times. To watch Cam Newton bring his team back and pull out a victory, to miss field goal and the run back. What happened last year with Jalen, with that pass in the corner of the end zone to win the game. If you'd have been with me that day, here, Herb Tyler and I, we are doing a pregame show for LSU. Every TV at Acme Oyster House had Alabama-Auburn on. The people stood up to watch that play. It was the reaction of, oh, my God. I've never seen a reaction like that for an Alabama game, so to speak, when they're playing somebody other than LSU. You saw what that game meant. That moment for me. People had finished eating and were standing and ready to leave and stopped to watch that play. That goes to show you what this game means, what it means to college football. It's certainly debatable, the best rivalry. I think it's certainly one of the top 3 to 4 rivalry games in college football. Ohio State, Michigan got some stuff there too now. Man, you talk about dislike one another. Them cats hate one another up there. It's similar for every rivalry, but it ranks at it's on Mount Rushmore as far as rivalries are concerned. It's on the Mount Rushmore for college football.
Mike, what do you think about Saturday? Who's going to win?
I think Alabama bounce. I think, again, if you look at how this season is, up and down and up and down and up and down, I think Alabama wins. Alabama wins Saturday.
All right. And Mike, I'm not in this group. There is some out here that keep talking about mathematically there's still a formula to get in the college football playoffs. I'm not in that group. Are you?
Not really, Ryan. I hear it.
I'm not either. I
got a guy, and he's one of these analytical guys. I told him I wish I'd have known about him when I was in engineering. I'd have hired that son of a gun. But man, he comes up with all these wild, and that would have to be a certain group of events. But we saw some crazy stuff Saturday. Nobody could have predicted all those events. You might have been able to pick one like that, but to have all of that go down.
Yeah, I mean, who knows in this world of chaotic? It's crazy.
But if you look of how Alabama has played, the thing would be, I think they bounce back and beat Auburn. And it's funny how as the quarterback, it used to have that old soap opera, man. My mom used to watch it. As the world turns. Is as the quarterback turns. That's what you're looking at here. As the quarterback turns. Take Diego Pave off that Vanderbilt team. How many wins they got, Ryan?
3, 4.
Ain't a lot. Not a lot. I look at Tulane right here, and they have a red shirt freshman quarterback in Darian Mensah. And he's going to get some NIL deals to try to leave Tulane to go to an SEC school. I think Makai Hughes, also the big running back for them, will get that this offseason. Without those two guys, Tulane's probably a 3-win team. They're on the verge of going to 3 straight American Football Conference championship games. They're going to be there. It's just sort of nutty, but I do think this world of college football revolves. Bobby would like me saying this. It does revolve around the quarterback. And if that quarterback has a hot day, you're not beating him. You're not. You forget it. It's not there. What you saw last week when Ole Miss played Florida, Lagway did not look like a freshman quarterback. Jackson Dart did. Ole Miss. He didn't play well at all. And here's the kid, 18 years old, Gatorade Player of the Year. I think he was either the first or number 1 or 2 ranked quarterback in the country. I think he's one of the top 3 or 4 players in the country. Goes to Florida. We saw some good and bad in him. He was awesome, wasn't he? Against Ole Miss, he really played well. It gives Billy Napier an opportunity to survive. What happened at Florida State when they found out, like most people, that quarterback they brought in on the transfer portal, he can't play. He cannot play at this level. And Florida State season went down the chute real quick, real fast. Miami of Florida, they were, a 6-7 win team? They bring in Cam Ward. How many games are they going to win this year?
Yeah.
Okay. And I told that to Coach O because he was like, hey, tell me about him. I said, Coach, he's going to get you double digits. He's going to get you, because his 2 sons coach at Miami of Florida. I said, he's going to get them double digits. That's the difference maker he is. I saw him at Incarnate Word. He was thrilled to meet me. He was an 18-year-old freshman. His dad used to listen to us on WWL. So I would be thrilled to meet him today. You know, at 18, he hadn't done anything. But he goes to Washington State and goes to Miami. Look what he's done. Look what Drake May did for North Carolina and Mac Brown. What's happened to Mac now? He's unemployed. You know, Texas, is there a better quarterback group than what they have? And with Quinn Ewers and they have Arch. Okay. Ryan, I think Ohio State's got a kid in Will Howard. He looks unorthodox, and he throws a funky football. That's the best term I could use. The ball comes out of there weird for him. He was great against Indiana. Indiana's quarterback did not play well. I think he almost felt the pressure of the moment, and Ohio State ended up winning. Where's Michigan today without J.J. McCarthy? They're a 500 football team. As the world turns, as the quarterback turns.
Well, okay, Mike, and you led me into the final question. Bryce Underwood, as a rival, you celebrate it because you're the team that you'd be going up against. Year doesn't get a big time recruit, but then there's the other part of my stomach that's really disgusting. That this is where college football is headed. I don't like it. Mike, I mean, I'm sorry. I know maybe we disagree on this NIL side of things, but I don't know if it's used in this way is truly good and healthy for the game.
Brian, I think that remains to be seen on what it will do to the game. I think it's going to be a bigger gap between the haves and have-nots. I think what this does tell you is money people. Jimmy Haslam is a big supporter of University of Tennessee.
Sure.
He's a multi-billionaire, just like Larry Ellison is, who runs Oracle. You know, Texas is always going to have money, oil and gas, black gold, Texas tea, Texas A&M, similar. They're going to have money always for players. Those and Ohio State, man, they got a lot of alumni with cash. Notre Dame is another team I would throw in there. Look at the guys that left Notre Dame and graduated there. It maybe not former football players, but guys that have been very successful in the business world. There are 5 or 6 teams. Oregon, Phil Knight. Okay? They're going to funnel money. I would never want anybody to tell me what to do with my money. And sometimes people do. Oh, how come you don't give to this charity or this? Okay, I give to the charity that I feel closer to. I think we in a generation, my mom was not like this. I wanted her, and she had means. And she was mean, so to speak. I wanted her to give some of that money away to charities that she was involved with. Hey, you don't have to give it to me. I got it. But, give it to your grandkids when you could see them, have a little joy in it. My mom refused. Says, you fool with that when I die. It's like, don't you want to see what your money could do for, charities or people? Didn't want to do it. But we live in a generation where, my mom's passed away now. She was 89 years old when she died. That was another generation that held on to that money to the bitter end. I think you have a generation now that is more than willing, if they have means, and we have more people with means today than any other time in the history of this country. And I'm talking about not millionaires. I'm talking about billionaires that are willing to help a school. I'm not going to kind of downgrade that guy because he wants to give it to something that he thinks help his school. And if you, Bryce Underwood, and you, his mom and dad, what would you have told him if they come up with a deal?
Mike, I don't blame the player. I blame the system.
Well, the system, though, is the Wild Wild West. And who created this? Because of their idiotic ways. The NCAA.
Amen.
They created what you see today. Don't be mad at some 19-year-old kid.
No, I'm not. I'm mad at the system. I'm mad at the leadership in a major business that certainly I take a lot of enjoyment and I have a job because of it. But the leaders have failed the system.
The NCAA has messed this up and spent money, your money, if you paid for tickets, because part of that money does go to the NCAA. Part of these games, bowl games, that money is given to the NCAA. They have lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits. The lawyers got rich. The NCAA has messed this up by not putting a system in place where the players could get paid and could not move around. But you allowed a coach to get as much money as he could, and he could jump from team to team. Hypocrisy at the highest level. They did this to themselves. So it's a self-inflicted wound, and it's a major one. Something has to be fixed here. I don't know who could fix it. Certainly don't get Congress and the Senate to fool with this. Them guys can't fix anything.
Yeah, right.
You just look around you. Politicians, they're not fixing anything. So my deal's going to be, we living in that world where it is a lot of the Wild Wild West. And we had a couple people from University of Oregon at Manning Camp, and they told us that Phil Knight, Nike, he got him in a room and said, whatever it takes financially for me to win a national championship before I die, you come to me for the money.
But Mike, and I'll leave you this. I got to get out of here because I'm up against this break. Does a championship really mean the same, though?
Hell yeah, if you win it. That's the way I look at it.
Okay,
Ain't nobody taking that away from me.
Yeah.
That's just the way I feel, Ryan. If you win it, you win it. And if everybody's paying players, they did in the past too. But now it's legal. Man, Billy Cannon, I did numerous shows with Billy. Billy played in the 50s. Billy told me he'd walk out of Tiger Stadium with $200 in his pocket. Now, that's when $200, you had some money. back in 1958 and 59.
Sure.
If you got $300 on you, hey, you were doing really well.
Yeah.
Billy told me I left there numerous times with more money than what I'm telling you, the $350, $400. I left out of there. Who was paying him that? You think they passed the collection plate? Oh, that were guys involved with LSU that was giving him money. And so I think we're living in that world where the money volume is getting more and more involved and people are getting paid. Archie always brings up about the disparity. His fear is what that does to the locker room. That if a quarterback is making $2 million a year and your starting center gets $150 a year, Archie's deal is, Mike, he said, okay, it's human nature to be jealous. It's human nature. All of us have and will have some form of jealousy in our life. And like he said, that is the ugly part of this. It's not so much the young man making the money. It's the disparity in the money that they're making.
Hey, Mike, I get to this break. I'm a little bit late. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Hope you enjoy a lot of great, family gatherings and some great food. And certainly we're thankful that you're a part of our show. Mike, WWL, Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert and company there in the PM Afternoon Drive host. Mike, I hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you for being a part of our show.
Thank you, Ryan. Happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody listening. Appreciate y'all. I get a lot of response from you.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. You're one of our favorite. Thank you, Mike. Have a great rest of your week, man. Mike Detillier, Wilcox-Side Marina Drive up in Northport. You'll find a great location if you're looking for some great Southern cuisine. Eat Southern, be Southern. We're going to get Paul in Lincoln. I got some Kayla DeBoer audio. Certainly went on my rant today in the first couple of minutes talking about the Iron Bowl and what it means to me. Welcome you right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. Let's go to Paul in Lincoln. Paul, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Ryan, can we embrace the suck?
We can. We can. S-A-U-C-K. S-A-U-C-K.
Yes. And that A-U stands for?
That would be the Auburn Tigers.
The Auburn Tigers. Ryan, you got me pinned up against a Zoom call here at 3 o'clock, so we're probably going to make this pretty quick.
You're fine. I'm sorry.
No. That's all right. Ryan, remember back during the summer we were having our hot takes? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Those couple shows you had? Yeah. And, I said that I declared that my hot take was going to be that Alabama would beat Auburn by 40 in the Iron Bowl. This was back in June. You remember that prediction, Ryan?
I do.
40. I wonder where I'm going to go with the score. I do not know. Ryan, remember the last time Auburn came to Tuscaloosa in 2022? Do you remember the rushing yards that Auburn had that day?
Help me. I don't remember the exact.
It was over 300 yards. Now we beat them by 22 points.
Well, that's their game plan coming here, right? They don't really have a lot of other options, do they?
Well, if you consider their the way they played against ULM, the Warhawks, maybe they found themselves a passing game. I don't know. But we shall see. But yeah, they had I think it was 301 total rushing yards in 2022, and that was against a Pete Golding coordinated defense. But you're right. That's what they're going to do. They're going to establish or try to establish the running game. They're wanting to shorten the game, and I'm anxious to see I'm anxious to see what Alabama's approach is going to be. I really am.
Well, Paul, I'd ask you if you believe in this football team. But it's like Mike Detillier said, it's been a roller coaster.
It is. This has been peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys.
The highs are really high, and the lows are really, really low.
They really are. And last Saturday night was certainly that was low. That's the lowest I can remember. I mean, I know in 22 we go to Knoxville and they hang 52 on us, but it took we scored 49 and realistically probably should have salted the game away and won the game, but it didn't happen. But last Saturday night was that was an ugly. But we've got to bounce back. So let's figure out a
tiebreaker. Yep. 4 minutes before I get you on this Zoom call. All right.
Okay. What do we do? Do I give Jalen Milroe another shot?
I think we do, because I'm going to tell you, it worked when we kept going Jalen Milroe passing yards, because I don't know if you can run in the teeth of that defense.
Yeah.
I think there's some money to be made there, but who knows if they'll take advantage of it. I say yes. Yeah. I think this team is – Paul, I promise you, if you went in that building today, and all right, never mind, because I know you got to get to this break, but and we got to get you that Zoom call. If we're late and you get fired, then
yeah. But let's. I know exactly where you're going, and great. But I'm going to give Jalen another shot.
Okay.
I'm going to give. Like I said yesterday when I was signing off, prove me wrong, Jalen. Prove me wrong.
Please do.
I'm going to give him a shot. Yes. All right, Jalen Milroe passing yards, it'll be. All right, I'm going to pick Bama. I'm going to pick Bama 27, Auburn 17.
Okay.
27-17 Bama. Jalen Milroe passing yards. I'm going to go, give me 200 even. 200.
Okay. 27-17, 200 even. I got it, Paul. I appreciate you, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll MAGA.
Thank you. Paul and Lincoln helping us out there. Let's break. We'll come back. Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. One line available.
Hold tight. Ooh, baby, hold tight. Oh, she said, anyway you want it, that's the way you want it. Anyway you want it. She said, anyway you want it, that's the way you need it.
All right, we welcome you right back into the game. I want to remind you about Seize the Deal coming up, 8 o'clock, coming up, Vinny's Pub. Great chance to get a $25 gift certificate for half price. I mean, what a deal. Listen, we go back to Texas Roadhouse. That's sold out just within a few minutes. So remember, it's Tide109.com. Seize the deal. And also, buck season has started. The big old buck hunting contest at Tide109.com. We're talking Alabama Crimson Tide football and a lot of things. Man, we are excited to talk with you. It's the Iron Bowl. It is the biggest game of the year. When you look at the entertainment, man, it's wild. I mean, Jaisha, I got to get your thoughts on this Iron Bowl. I mean, are you feeling the energy? I mean, we're on a Tuesday. I'm trying to pace myself because I'm going to burn myself out and even get one day on the Thursday side of things. Let's talk. I mean, what do you think? Are you feeling confident about this football team, or you kind of? I mean, it's a roller coaster, Jaisha. I'm ready to talk, and I'm going to get to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to get your opinion. I'm going to get Simon in here as well.
I feel confident. I think they got to just ignore the media right now. I mean, you lost. It was a humiliating loss. You got to get past it. What happened to Oklahoma has to stay in Oklahoma. You can't bring it to Tuscaloosa.
Come on.
So you got to get past it. You're playing your biggest rival in Tuscaloosa in front of all of these fans. People are wanting Kalen DeBoer to beat Auburn. Auburn is talking a lot of crap right now. So
all right, but now, okay, so. But I think it's a trick. I almost think that this is a planned trash-talking event. I think the Auburn Tigers are doing it as a distraction.
No, I just think that's how they are. I mean, they did it when Bryce Young was here. They did it with Mac and Tua and Jalen. So right. I just think that's and then, I mean, they do have.
Doesn't it tell you the difference between the two programs?
It kind of does, but I think they
Malachi Moore earlier today, solid class. Respected Auburn. Auburn's got a really good football team. Yep. I mean, is it boring for me as a reporter to get these canned answers? but it tells me that they're coached to say that, which is, like I said, can be boring, but it can also be one of those that when you look back, it is what it is when you look at the world of college football. I mean, so anyway.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'll close with, I think a lot of people got to appreciate Kalen DeBoer more. It goes back to what you just said about coaching. You got a lot of coaches that have thrown their players under the bus this season or have allowed their players to do some chaotic things, but he's
other than the Malachi Moore situation at Vanderbilt, something that's a little bit disappointing.
There are worse things that have happened this season. When you open the book and you look at everything, there are way worse things that have presented themselves. So I think you got to cut him a bit of slack because he has, stayed in it. He's tried, and
sure.
I mean, nobody else wants to fill the shoes of Saban. So.
Well, and think about when Malachi Moore went off against that Vanderbilt, the loss. That was really a turning point of that Crimson Tide defense. And understanding that, hey, guys, we got to play better. It was not a reaction to Vanderbilt more than it was the frustration with him and his teammates. And Malachi Moore has taken that moment and grown as a player. I just look at it. All right, so Simon, I'll get you involved in a little bit later in the show. Let me get back to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thank you, Jaisha. Stephen, good afternoon. You're in the game. Roll Tide to you, man.
Roll Tide, Ryan. How are you? I'm
good, man. I'm having a great day. It's the Iron Bowl week, baby. It is the Iron Bowl week, and we talked about pressure, and I'm not trying to add more pressure to this, but I think from a first-year college football momentum standpoint, this one's huge.
Ryan, I'm still struggling with the way we played last Saturday. And the team added even more pressure to themselves this past Saturday with the way they played. Ryan, these players are paid players. The student athlete, yes, they're student athletes, but some of these players make more than I've made in the last 10 years. And I used to give the student athlete the benefit of the doubt, but these guys are paid players now, Ryan. And what they put on the field last Saturday was inexcusable. I am always one to give the benefit of the doubt. But, man, Ryan, I'm struggling with this team right now. Jalen Milroe obviously cannot pass the ball, cannot beat a team passing. You take away his legs, then he's out. Every team that's taken away his legs has beat us this year. And I think I have messaged that I believe Kalen DeBoer had to hitch his wagon to Jalen Milroe this year coming in because of that 30-day transfer window.
He did.
That 30-day transfer window after Coach Saban retired. He had to keep this team together if he was going to have any chance of competing this year.
He did. And I think that's something that most of us, including myself, we need to be reminded of. When you say what you just did, say it again. I mean, he had no other option. He had to hook his wagon to Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe had the locker room. Jalen Milroe had the confidence of key players on this team. And so he had to hitch his wagon there.
And you know what? You can't blame him. You can't blame him.
No, you can't blame him. I am still in full belief of Kalen DeBoer. That is the fact. My belief is wavered in Jalen Milroe. And that's just by what he's putting on the field.
Well,
he had
let me say this, Stephen. I think that moment of that game may fire the britches up of Jalen Milroe.
I hope so. Something needs to, Ryan. In that game, he had the chance. He had a power quarterback dive off the right side. He had the first down, Ryan. All he had to do was stick his nose in there and go straight ahead. But he feigned from contact and juked off to the right, and we ended up being 3rd and 2 that we didn't get. All he had to do on that interception was push that guy out of bounds, which was going to require him to hit him. What did he try to do, Ryan? He tried to whiplash his leg. He feigned from contact again.
He is going to run from contact. So if your running quarterback, who's the best asset of his game is his legs, is going to run from contact, Ryan, we have a problem.
That's why I think you're going to see a Jalen Milroe play to the best of his ability. He's going to put it all on the line. I think he understands. Listen, when you look at his career, it has been, we've had great moments. I mean, without him, I don't know if this team is sitting where they're at right now. I think and I've never wavered on he is the quarterback of this football team, and he's earned it. And I think he's the best option. I've never disagreed with that. You can go back. All these shows are archived, okay? Would I like to see him play better? Would I like to see him play more comfortable in the system that they're asking him? Yes, I would. I would like to see him take some bigger steps as a quarterback for those short intermediate passes. But at this point, we know his strengths and we know his weaknesses. We do. And
yeah.
But I think we're going to see him respond in a manner that is ultimate.
The thing is, we can sit here, and I am not high on Jalen Milroe right now, as by my statements. But we can clamor for Ty Simpson all we want to.
He's not ready right now.
But he has shown nothing that he is ready. Now, some of that may be that he is not getting starter reps. He's probably not getting the reps that Jalen Milroe is. I mean, you look at Eli Holstein in Pittsburgh. He wasn't getting any reps here. But as soon as he gets starter reps, he shows that he's a pretty good quarterback. So I do still have hope for Ty Simpson or whoever wins it. I'm always for the Bama play. Whoever wins the starter next year, Ryan, I will be for them.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
And you know what? When we look at the spring, can you imagine what this quarterback competition is going to be like?
Oh.
It's going to be off the charts. Now, we're assuming that Jalen Milroe is going to enter the NFL draft.
I'm ready, Ryan. I'm sorry. After this up and down bipolar season, I'm ready for a change. And I have always been for Jalen. I think he's the best option we've had the last 2 years. But he's also given me half a dozen heart attacks. And that's disappointed
me. Does anybody else notice behind Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan and Kane Womack the billboard that is sponsored by Alabama Crimson Tide Football, or sponsor of Alabama Crimson Tide Football?
What's that?
Cardiac Solutions.
Ryan, while I got you on the phone,
has anybody else noticed that other than me? I think they've got some national ads. I think there's a wireless communication company, but behind that, there's Cardiac Solutions.
One other thing not associated with Alabama football, Ryan, is the SEC officiating and officiating in general. We signed a contract with ESPN, meaning SEC. I shouldn't say we. The SEC signed a contract with ESPN. Do you know what one of the subsidiaries of ESPN is, Ryan? ESPN Bets. Our TV contract owns their own online gambling establishment. And Ryan, I'm sorry. It looks to me like the referees are on the take. Some of these referees have been got.
Stephen,
it is too big of money. It's too big of money. I don't know, Ryan.
I hate. That's why we need more transparency. I have reached out to the SEC. They tell me that they do not release statements on judgment calls. But
why would you not be transparent, Ryan? Why?
I sent them an email early this morning, and I don't know if I'm allowed to read this, but I'll paraphrase, and it says, I reached out to the head director of media relations at the Southeastern Conference, and I said, Chuck, will there be a release explaining the call that happened during Alabama versus Oklahoma game? I'm referring to the play that happened with 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for all you do. Ryan Fowler, Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa. I get a response. The officials judged that number 2 was covered up on the play, resulting in an illegal touching penalty as announced by the referee. The play was not reviewable by video replay. The conference does not comment on judgment calls.
How is whether he was covered up or not a judgment call? He either is or he isn't. And we all saw the replay, Ryan. He was not covered.
Well, I'm actually disappointed that there's not more people beating on this drum. If there's one thing all 16 schools agree upon is we need better officiating. We know that they're humans. We know that they make mistakes. But transparency removes doubt. Because what you just said in the last 3 or 4 minutes is disturbing to me. And you have every right to say it because of the lack of transparency that has created that doubt that you just said. We shouldn't feel that way about guys in stripes. We should not have to feel that way. We must feel that confident in it's not fair to the players. It's not fair to the coaches. It's not fair to the university. It's disappointing.
You know, some people have said, well, he waited. I understand why if he thought he was covered up. I understand why he threw the flag when he did. He threw the flag when he touched the ball, which is the call, illegal touching. He can't throw the flag unless he's the one to touch the ball first.
Yeah. Well, I do know it was a mistake.
So that's the reason for the late.
I would just I'd like to see them own it. I'd like to see them.
Yeah, I would too. I would too, because when you look at some of the calls, and not just against Alabama, other games, Ryan, have been atrocious. To me, I have doubt as to whether it's only up and up. Because some of these calls are affecting the outcome of the game. Would that call have affected that? You know, it made it 24-10, Ryan, and we got the ball right back right after that. But of course, we have a quarterback that can't throw, that doesn't know the difference in the uniform. He throws 3 interceptions, and our defense only gave up like 10 points, maybe.
Yeah,
it wasn't affected by
I saw
turnover.
a lot of people blaming. Hey, Stephen, give me a score, man. I'm sorry, I'm out of time.
I'm
here.
so sorry.
Yeah, I
haven't talked to you in so long.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, let it rip, man. That's what we're for. We're here for therapy, and we're going to talk about it. But Stephen, thank you, man. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. I'm going 20-17. Good guys.
Okay, and then we're going Jalen Milroe passing yards is where Paul wanted to go.
183. He hasn't gone over 200 yards this year except for maybe once.
Thank you, Stephen. I hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Roll Tide.
Right back to you. One line available, 205-342-9904. We'll talk to Brad Edwards coming up in a couple of minutes as we continue. Bubba in Northport. Bubba, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Roll Tide, my friend.
Yeah, roll Tide to you.
I want to touch on what Stephen from Raleigh was talking about the officials. When I was an official, umpired high school softball, if there was a questionable call, if one of the coaches, they would always call in to the supervisor and we would talk about it, you know, at our weekly meeting. And if it was the wrong call and it continued to happen,
all I'm saying is they're human. They make mistakes. Allow us to understand why. Don't put this bulletproof shield above them and prevent that they're above. Let them explain. Let them educate us. Bubba, allow them. I got to look at you, and if you walked up to me and said, I've got $1 million lottery ticket, you can have it if you can explain what targeting is. I'm not sure I would be able to do it in their terminology. Now that's
nobody
fault.
Can explain.
Well, because it's so, and I get the fast-paced game. I get the fast-paced. I get the style of play. I'm all aware that there's only so many officials out there on that field. But I also understand that if you communicate, if you tell me what's going on, I can better handle that. I can understand it. I can hopefully explain it to my audience. I've said it for weeks. If you want to make a primetime show on SEC Network that will draw ratings like you've never seen before, are you ready? You want to know what will draw ratings? Put you an SEC official show on a Monday or a Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock.
That's true.
And have the officials in there. I'm talking about the head of director of officials for the SEC, and explain calls. And admit when you got it wrong. Listen. I came in yesterday. and said, I didn't see what Oklahoma did coming. I didn't see what they did Alabama 24-3. And very many people did. But we were wrong. Admitting that you're wrong. Stepping away. Admitting that you're wrong.
My point was in explaining that, the supervisor, go, okay, Bubba, yeah, I believe that you made the right call. Bubba, I don't think you made the right call. This is what you need to do next time if this situation comes up again. And if it continues to happen, you know what they used to do with us? Hurt us in the pocketbook. Less games to call. That means less money. And we was making $70 a game. So that hurts. So they held us accountable if we did wrong.
And like I said, you're humans. We make mistakes.
Right.
You make them, I make them, they make them. But pretending that they're above mistakes and not allowing us to understand, I think that's wrong. I can't look back at that call and tell you, because I'm bothered by what Stephen and Raleigh said.
Right.
And that's the part that I look back and I go, man. I mean, when he said it kind of like it bothers me inside that we're questioning this, because I think it hurts the integrity of the sport.
It does, and they should be held accountable for, if it was a blown call, hey, admit it, move on.
Sure.
If it happens again, we'll fine you. If not, you won't call any more games.
Like I said, I reached out with a very simple question. Hey, are you guys going to release this statement? Are you going to allow us to understand what happened? Because you're on national television. You didn't just embarrass Alabama and Oklahoma. You embarrassed the SEC. You embarrassed primetime television, because that call is unacceptable. It
wasn't just our games. It's other SEC games.
That's why I said, I mean, if there's one thing that could bring Alabama and Auburn and Alabama and Tennessee and Alabama and LSU and Alabama and Texas and Alabama and Texas A&M and Georgia and Tennessee and South Carolina and everybody else, the 16 schools, is right now, and the gaslighting that went on with Greg Sankey going on the SEC network and explaining that they've got above average officials, hogwash.
Yeah, that's right. And what's going to take is going to take 16 head coaches and 16 ADs demanding accountability on blown, stupid calls.
All right, Bubba, give me a prediction.
31-17. I'm rolling with the Tide. I
31-17. I believe that was the 2001 Iron Bowl score, was it not?
It was.
All right.
I feel like we're on a mission. We're going to get things done.
Give me the Jalen Milroe passing yards. We're trying to highlight his skill set, and hopefully he'll get it cranked up. Because when we went this number, Alabama's played pretty solid. So not saying that will impact the game. Talk to me.
167.
I got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Roll Tide.
Hope you have a great day, man. Thank you. Bubba in Northport, phone lines literally jammed up. Bryce in San Antonio, don't go anywhere. Mary in Georgia, we're going to get to you. We're doing a Southern Now score prediction day. I do remind you about the Wharf. If you're looking for a new pair of boots, Justin, Tony Lima, Red Wing, Georgia, Double H, Timberline, Laredo, and many more. It is the Wharf, the working Western wear for the entire family since 1976 as we approach Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Christmas time shopping. Think about the Wharf, open until 6 p.m. right there on McFarland Boulevard. We'll continue with more of the game. Tide at 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Flores Gourmet Baskets, 1010 Queen City Avenue. We call that Doghouse Prevention. If you're celebrating that
Tuesday night, live from Walk On Sports Bistro for Hillcrest Huddle. That's Brent Jones each week as the Hillcrest Patriots march towards the playoffs.
Nuke's Eatery there on University Boulevard, 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. If you're looking for a great sandwich, you're looking for a salad, California-style pizza, go see Joel Bromfield, 205 University Boulevard, close enough that you can smell the champion.
And get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Don Wallace CPA, 527 Main Avenue in downtown Northport. Small business and personal income taxes, payroll, sales tax needs. They can also help you with nonprofit or church accounting or auditing. In business since 1999, they work for you, not the IRS. When you take on taxes, you got to have someone on your side. It's Don Wallace CPA.
Shop the best Black Friday weekend deals up to 70% off, only at Tanger Outlets. Save big at Crocs, Old Navy Outlet, American Eagle Outfitters, Kay Jewelers, and hundreds more. Find something for everyone on your list during our biggest sale of the year. Hundreds of brands, endless gifting options. Unwrap the best at Tanger Outlets. Stores open at 6 a.m. Black Friday. Get your savings at Tanger.com. Big time deals on big name brands.
Easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A national championship team covering a national championship team. The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Coming up in just a couple of minutes, Bryce in San Antonio. Bryce, good afternoon. You're in the game. Hey, Bryce. Hey, Bryce. No, Bryce. How about Mary in Georgia? Mary, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm incredible. Hope you're having a great day.
It is a great day. Just enjoying a day off from work and getting things ready for a midweek service at church tonight. So it's going to be a good evening.
Incredible.
Hey,
yes, after my hatred of Auburn, I may need to be in church. I wonder if I can get back-to-back services because, they say you're not supposed to have hate in your heart. But
that's true.
Mary,
this is Auburn.
Oh, so you think God forgives this? I agree with you.
I know for a fact God will forgive us after this weekend. I know for a fact He will, because there's several of us that are probably going to need to be praying this whole week. But I can't lie and say that I don't love Auburn Hate Week. I love Auburn Hate Week as much as I love hating on Tennessee, Georgia,
it's a rival
Vanderbilt,
game.
anybody.
It's what makes this special. It makes this game kind of special.
It's very special, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really pumped, and I'm just hoping that we can improve from last week. And I agree exactly with what Jaisha said earlier. What happens in Norman stays in Norman, Oklahoma. Don't bring it back here.
Well,
we cannot bring that same energy back
some
here.
Of their better football here, and I'm asking. I'm on my hands and knees here in the studio, okay? I'm going to get out on my hands and knees. You're probably going to hear the noise, okay? I'm asking Alabama fans. Take your tickets. If you can't use them, make sure that there's an Alabama fan. Don't put them on StubHub. Don't put them on.
I'll take them.
Okay. Find you a Sunday school teacher. Find your preacher. Find your neighbor's kid that has never been to a game and give him the tickets. You don't need the darn money. Don't allow Auburn people to soak up that market, because I see a lot of StubHub tickets out there. Don't allow Auburn to benefit from your frustration.
Exactly.
Throw them in the trash. Leave them empty.
Oh, right.
I mean, I don't want them to throw them in the trash. Find them somebody can use them. I mean, there's kids out here that love to go to that game. Find you somebody to give them to. Allow them, make their day. Maybe they've lost their job or they've not been able to go to a game. Listen, I never went to a game until I was a student at the University of Alabama. I couldn't afford it. Go find that kid. Cultivate that new Alabama fan. Who knows? That guy may be $1 million NIL donor at some point in his life.
Exactly. Let's bring the next generation in and just let them experience just how awesome we are. I love it.
Great point.
I absolutely love it.
I'm pleading with you, Alabama fans. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't
do it.
Yeah.
Please don't do it.
Don't take your frustration out. Throw them in the trash. File 13. All right. Give them to me. I'll find you an Alabama fan that can use them.
Absolutely.
I won't make a profit off of it either. We can donate it to Habitat for Humanity, and we'll let Nick Saban. By the way, TuscaloosaThread.com put another article up. Nick Saban, gave another house away. Him and Miss Terry continue to be individuals that you stop and think about the family trees they've changed. Is pretty incredible. All right, Mary, talk to me.
They're amazing. All right, I've got a score. I'm going to go 34-17.
34-17, Jalen Milroe passing yards. Where do you want to go, Mary?
Let's go 215.
215. I got it. Thank you, Mary. Hope you have a great day.
You too. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Let's take Bryson Senate. No, because I'm at 32. I'm at 32. Let's break here. We'll go to Brad Edwards. He'll be our guest. We'll talk with him. We'll break down the Iron Bowl a lot more. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Don Wallace CPA, 527 Main Avenue in downtown Northport. Small business and personal income taxes, payroll, sales tax needs. They can also help you with nonprofit or church accounting or auditing. In business since 1999, they work for you, not the IRS. When you take on taxes, you got to have someone on your side. It's Don Wallace.
Up or enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Do you have timberland you don't know what to do with? Give North River Timber Company a call. Call Courtney White and his team of over 20 years experience in West Alabama and East Mississippi. Offer timber harvesting programs, timber appraisals, comprehensive management plans as a registered forester in Alabama. Courtney and his team can help you decide how to maximize the highest potential for your land. Courtney says timber is like money in the bank. See what your investment can do for you. Contact Courtney White at 205-242-5127, 205-242-5127, or North River Timber Company.
Casa and Tide 100.9 will award $500 for the best Christmas light display in West Alabama. To enter, upload your photos to Tide109.com. Merry Christmas from your friends at Taco Casa and Tide 100.9.
The best breakdown of Alabama football in the state. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
We got Brad Edwards coming up, but hey, it's a good flip season. We're working our way down to recruiting. We've got National Signing Day. Can you believe it in all the chaos that we're dealing with? December the 4th will be National Signing Day. And the Monday following the SEC title game, we're going to open up the portal. We're going to open up the portal in the world of college football. Right now, we're going to go to Brad Edwards. It is Gridiron and the Gospel. Brad Edwards, I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Thank you, Ryan. Having a good day here. It's always a weird week where you want to get excited about football games, but you got Thanksgiving to address first, and so I will say this though, there's reason to be intrigued with these playoff rankings tonight. That's for sure.
All right. I want to go back to Alabama's performance against Oklahoma. What'd you see?
Yeah, that was, I don't think I'm breaking any news here. Everybody watched it. It's really tough to pull anything positive out of that. That was about as dreadful of a performance as I can remember. Just given, not only everything that was on the line, but knowing what Alabama's team was capable of, knowing the limitations of the opponent, and to have broken down in almost every single level. Sure, you can look at Milroe stats and say had to get better quarterback play, and that's true. But if you're watching the game, you saw the offensive line, especially in pass protection, was dreadful. There were receivers who drop passes. I mean, yes, he threw a number of them that were off target, but a few that he threw that were on target that should have moved the chains were not caught. Defensively, they're just, the defensive front just seemed like it had no idea of where it was supposed to be. You saw, it just seemed like there was a lot of indecision there with guys, almost like playing on their heels, uncertain. And, for a team that had no real passing threat to be able to run on you the way that they did, it's just really inexplicable. And so you put it all together and they're just, almost everyone is to blame. There's no way to just kind of try to pin this on one person or one position group. It was a complete failure. And as, someone who, started as a student at Alabama in the fall of '89 and has watched pretty much every Alabama game played since then. I know you've got a lot of people who go back much further than that. But just from my experience and just kind of thinking back through them, the only other game I could compare this to, as far as being late enough in the season that you had a really good idea of what Alabama was, you had a great idea of what the opponent was, and knew that Alabama should win the game and should probably win it comfortably, and then it ended up being a complete blowout. The only other one like that I can think of was the 1991 Fiesta Bowl, end of the 90 season against Louisville, the Browning-Nagel game, the game that made him a first-round draft pick. And even that, it comes up a little bit short because it was a bowl game that was not being played for a championship. It was a glorified exhibition game. It was a good reward for a season that started terribly. And obviously they turned things around, ended up having a very good season, and it was a very flat ending to it. But they weren't playing for to keep national championship hopes alive like they were the other night. So that's the best I can do as far as like what to compare it to, and just the shock and watching it happen and expecting there to be some sort of comeback, some sort of run that never occurred. And I mean, I guess if you're going to try to take a silver lining out of it, it would be that 1990 season, that was the first season for Gene Stallings. And after that loss, they ended up, I don't know what it was. They probably won like 30 of their next 31 games or something like that. So, I mean, it just goes to show that, maybe that one game doesn't tell you everything, but man, it was bad.
Brad, I want to ask you about this college football playoff ranking. What do you expect? I mean, listen, I'm not in the group that thinks that Alabama could go into the back door and try to find a way to work their in. I think it would take a pretty good meltdown of this final weekend. But, I mean, compared to what we've seen in college football in 2024, who knows? Where are you from an analytical standpoint?
Well, so here's the thing, is that I don't think Alabama deserves to be in the playoff. And I think most people who watch would agree with that. That said, 12 teams have to get in. And if there are only, 8 or 9 that really deserve to be in, you've got to fill out the field. And like you just, referenced, like if there's more carnage this weekend, if there are more upsets, then somebody who didn't really play well enough to deserve to be competing for a national championship at the end of the season is going to get the opportunity. And we'll find out tonight kind of who those teams are, because you can look at this weekend and see, all right, there are some possibilities of some things breaking in a way that would, help Alabama or some 3-loss SEC team. One of them would be, for Miami to lose to Syracuse, and then, maybe Miami goes on and wins the ACC, or actually if Miami loses, they're probably going to be out. I think Clemson would take their place. And then, so if Clemson were to lose to South Carolina, that would be another one that would weaken Clemson. There are some results out there. So I guess the big question is, like, what order are these teams in? Because we did hear last week the committee chair say that they're not really going to punish teams for losing a conference championship game. So the question ends up being, okay, who's in those games? And, like, where are those teams going to be ranked going in? And I kind of look at the SEC teams that are sitting there with 3 losses. Now, obviously, A&M's in a position where if they win this week, they're in the SEC championship game, and if they win again, they're probably going to be a top 4 seed. I shouldn't say probably. So they kind of control their own situation. But you look at Alabama, you look at Ole Miss, and I think it's a question of how much does the committee punish Alabama, not just for losing, but for not even really being competitive. Do they fall behind Ole Miss? Do they fall behind some other teams? I mean, whoever is sitting there, South Carolina is another one I would look at. Because even though South Carolina lost to Alabama, if you look at the way the teams are playing right now, or especially the game that Alabama just played, South Carolina is on an upward trajectory. In fact, they probably feel a lot like Alabama did going into last weekend. And so if they were to win at Clemson, I think you could make a good case for them being considered for the playoff. Now, maybe head-to-head ends up being in Alabama's favor. But yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to where's Alabama ranked? If they're like, 12 or 13 tonight, then I think somehow there's still a chance. But look, I wouldn't hold my breath. But like I said, they have to put 12 teams in this thing.
Brad, we've been talking about officiating, and with 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, there was a bad call that was made.
Yeah.
I would love to hear you, because you watch college football from a national level. How can we fix this? How can we – I love transparency. I think transparency is the key to communication, to understand the difficult that job is. But I think the crickets coming out of the SEC office, I don't like it.
Yeah, look, I think one thing that we've seen in this age of instant replay or replay review is that over time they've kind of expanded the list of types of plays that are reviewable. And I understand there's certain things that are judgment calls, like pass interference is a judgment call, but at the same time, there are some instances where it very clearly is interference, or it's not interference. Where maybe you could take that to replay, and there are already plays that are reviewable that have to do with a line. Whether it's did they cross the goal line, did they reach the first down line, even for some instances of actually, I'm even not sure about this off the top of my head, like a lineman downfield. I don't remember if that one is reviewable, but that's one where, depending on the camera angle, you may be able to tell with certainty, or it may be really close. And I think the type of thing that happened in the Alabama game, if I understood the call correctly, and it was about whether a receiver was covered up, that's a line thing where, yeah, look, there may be certain camera angles depending on where the ball is in the field where it's really difficult to say if the referee was right or whether it was an egregiously bad call. But then there are other times where the angle is close enough, and this was one of them, where it was pretty evident, like that was a really bad call. And I don't know whether he was looking at the wrong guy, what happened, but I would love to see more things, be allowed to be reviewed. I know there's another side of it where you say, look, there are enough stoppages already. Like you got to draw the line somewhere as far as like, we can't just keep adding time to review this, review that. But I guess I'll just say this. If that touchdown had potentially cut the lead to 7 instead of potentially cutting it to 14, that would have been an enormous play in the game. I mean, as it turned out, I have not heard any Alabama fans saying that cost us the game.
No, it
yeah, everybody understands they were completely outplayed. But at the same time, there is a momentum factor that if you score there and then you get a quick stop, who knows? And like I said, if it had been a different score at the time and that had made it a one-possession game or would have made it, that absolutely needs to be reviewed, because the whole idea is to get it right on the field and, have the players decide the game, not the officials. And I think that is potentially another situation where they should consider, bringing replay in to be able to review a call just to make sure that they got it right.
I'm going to read you something. And, heck, if I get in trouble, what can they do? Take away my hot dog from me? They'll take away my parking pass. I don't really give a darn. But I'll tell you that I emailed the SEC office and I said, because they did release a statement earlier this year about Georgia, Texas, right? I mean, they released a statement. Right. I emailed them, and I'm just going to read you what I wrote. I said, Chuck Dunlop, which is the Director of Media Relations, I said, will there be a release explaining the call that happened during the Oklahoma-Alabama game? I'm referring to the play that happened with 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Ryan Fowler, Tide 100.9. He said the officials judged that number 2 was covered up on the play, resulting in an illegal touching penalty. As announced by the referee, that play was not reviewable by video replay. But here's where it gets muddy. The conference does not comment on judgment calls. I don't think that's a judgment call.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, Ryan, is that it is by definition a judgment call in that if the outside receiver is close enough, to the player who is off the line, or I should say, when you start getting into which guy's on the line and which guy's off the line. If they're close enough to each other, and look, the same thing is true for do you have enough guys on the line of scrimmage as far as having a legal formation? Sometimes it's really, really close, and it is a judgment call. In this particular case, this would be like a pass interference call where the DB gets there 5 yards before the ball arrives, and puts a serious hit into the back of the receiver. The ball goes past, the call is not made. I mean, yeah, in general, pass interference is a judgment call, but that's one of those that on replay, it very clearly was a bad call. It was missed. And so, I see both sides of it, which is you don't want to comment on a judgment call because sometimes a judgment might look correct in real time, and then you slow it down and you can see, the guy missed the call. But then there are other times that even in real time, it was obvious that the call was wrong. And sometimes it just helps your credibility to come out and say it. They screwed it up. I mean, it is a judgment call, but in this case, it was clearly wrong. And I mean, I don't know anything else to say about that play.
Brad, let's go to the Iron Bowl. When you look at Alabama and Auburn, what do you expect?
I don't know what to expect in this game. If I can't remember if we talked about it a few weeks ago, but I would say right after the LSU win, I know I told a number of people I was more worried about the Oklahoma game than I was about the Auburn game. Even though Auburn is a better team than Oklahoma, it was something about going on the road and just seeing how this team has played in previous road games. It just kind of made me uneasy. But after watching what they just did and kind of proving that to be correct, I don't know how much confidence I have in Alabama to be ready to play. Now, first of all, the Deontay Lawson, loss is a really big deal, and I think that was evident on the field after he went out, and I think that's going to cause some trouble on defense for defending against Auburn, and then. Obviously, there's some issues on offense that need to be sorted out. Things that clearly have to change from the Oklahoma game. But then beyond that, there's this whole attitude. And I get it that it's the Alabama-Auburn game, and you would expect that throw the records out. It doesn't matter what's on the line. The game itself is enough of a reason to play. We all get that, but at the same time, this team was 2 wins away from being in the playoff, and with the second to last game, they lost that. They lost that opportunity, and so is this game in itself, with there being no stakes beyond just the rivalry, is this enough for the Alabama team? I know it's enough for the Auburn team to be ready to play. is this enough for Alabama to come out like it's the 5th game of the year and have that same intensity, like everything is on the line? And I don't know. I mean, there have been other games in recent seasons where I questioned whether they would be ready to play, and they were, sometimes to my surprise. The one I can think of was the Ole Miss game 2 years ago after they had, I think it was 2 years ago, after they had lost to LSU, took the second loss, and they were probably out of the playoff at that point. And they went to Oxford, and I thought, you know what, they're going to come out flat and get rolled. And they didn't. They showed up to play. And this is another one of those situations where I think it really comes down to the attitude of the Alabama players. Do they want to win this game as much as Auburn does? If they do, being at home and being the better team, I would expect them to win. But once again, I think it's some of this is an attitude thing.
And I think the one thing that has favored Alabama is the talking coming across the state. I think they've done Alabama a little bit of a favor by dialing them in. I mean, if there's one thing it'll get you back dialed in, and I'm not saying it will help you during that 3.5 hour game, but from a preparation standpoint,
yeah.
Auburn
get your head screwed back on after what happened on Saturday. Yeah, get you back in the right mental space.
I think it's a mistake, but I also think that it looks like, from a desperation standpoint, Auburn has used that to maybe try to distract Alabama. I don't know. I mean, but
and look, Ryan, as we talked about earlier, I mean, look, it's possible that these playoff rankings could come out tonight, and Alabama's sitting there at 12 or 13, just needing 1 or 2 upsets in theory to be right back in it. And if that happens, and then there's an early upset, and I don't remember the game times of all the significant games on Saturday, but if there's an upset in that early window before Alabama takes the field, maybe they go out there with a hope that, hey, we're playing for something even beyond the rivalry itself. But to your point, if you haven't prepared right, if your head's not screwed on right as you're going through practices, Monday through Wednesday for sure, if not Monday through Thursday, then just because the door opens or the door cracks a little bit in your favor on Saturday, that doesn't mean it's gonna change a whole lot if you're not completely prepared.
Gridiron in the Gospel. You can connect with it where you get your podcast. Him and George Schroeder do an amazing job of covering college football. You can find him at J. Brad Edwards, J. Brad Edwards on the X account. Hey, Brad, thank you again for being a part of our show. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us here in Tuscaloosa.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there, and we'll see what it holds. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you so much. Brad Edwards helping us out there. We're going to continue. Jace Clarizzo has committed to the University of Alabama. He's a running back that flipped from Michigan State to the University of Alabama. We'll talk about it.
Alabama.
31-10. All right. Jalen Milroe passing yards. Where do you want to go?
256.
Got it. Thank you, Tommy. Hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Appreciate you.
I hope I didn't ruin your show.
No, I don't think you were in the show.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. Southern Ale House Score Prediction Day. 2 locations to serve you. Marina Drive up in Northport, right on Highway 43. You go past the Winn-Dixie on the right-hand side of the road about 3 miles. You'll see a Dollar General on the right. You turn right there, on the left, and then on the right you'll see Marina Drive. Great place to enjoy the dinner. Wonderful evening to go out and enjoy. They've got patio heaters out there, but a beautiful location. It is Southern Ale House Dockside, and then you'll find Southern Ale House 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Eat Southern, be Southern, right here in Tuscaloosa on 1530 McFarland Boulevard. A Southern Ale House. Okay.
And I'm real excited about going down and beating the brakes off of them. And backdooring, because I think we can backdoor into the playoffs. Man, at least that's what I'm reading. And I guess I got crimson-colored welding shades on. What do you think?
You do.
You don't think we can backdoor into it? Man, if a few things fall our way, hey, there was a time back when we got to play LSU the second time that we had to have a lot of help from our friends.
Well, I mean, if you look at the college football projections on the College Football Power Index, they've still got the ratings at 37.2 that Alabama could win in there. I don't know. I think it'd take a lot of help. Now, on a neutral field, would Alabama be able to play with Indiana? Yeah, they'd stomp a mud hole in Indiana. Would Alabama be able to play Penn State? Yeah, they'd stomp a. Pat, you got to give me your tiebreaker, man. I can't take the background noise.
Tiebreaker on the yardage at you come in. Jalen's passing yards, I want them to be 0 with a ring rubbed out. I want Ty to play, but being that that's probably not going to happen, Milroe gets a 300-yard passing day.
Got it. All right, Pat. Thank you, man.
Have a blessed one, Ryan Fowler. We'll see you when we get back to Tuscaloosa. I'm in Dollywood.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense. Pat's trying to get his scoring at Dollywood. All right, let's go to JR in Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game. All right, no JR. Forget about it. JR, I can't hear you. I don't know. Well, we've had bad luck there with Pat and JR. Couldn't hear them. We'll get back. Bama Nick knows how to answer the call, and we'll take him coming up in 3 minutes. We do have 2 lines available on a Southern Owl House score prediction day. Do not wait until tomorrow. We have multiple guests that we've had to move from Thursday to Wednesday. We have a shortened work week because of Thanksgiving. We're going to take your phone calls. We'll do that. Bama Nick coming up in a couple of minutes. I just said there was 2 lines available. I don't think there's any lines available now. 205-342-9904. Southern Owl House score prediction day right here on the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230. What'd you tell him?
You and Tommy Thunder, Tommy from Romulus, y'all don't know what a damn rant is, Fowler. You wouldn't know what a rant is if it bit you in the ass. But I'm the one that calls and gives the rants to the show, Fowler. I'm going to give you a rant tonight.
All right. Jai, you should get your finger on the dump button, please, because I
done told her. I gave her a heads up.
Bama Nick, I'm asking you, please don't cuss.
Well, Fowler, that's what a rant is.
No, I mean,
What I saw in that game against Oklahoma was, I couldn't even watch but the first 4 plays. When Alabama had the ball the first series and I saw what they did, I cut it off and started getting drunk. I wasn't even drunk.
Me too.
Luckily, I was drinking some high shelf liquor then.
Me too. That's what I started doing. I started.
I was drinking Maker's Mark.
Yeah, me too. What is that again?
Maker's Mark.
Yeah, that's
top shelf liquor.
Yeah, top shelf. Top shelf. No, mine was on the middle shelf.
You know what I think that Bama's problem is? They're not tough. They ain't no toughness in them. They don't know how to play tough. They don't know how to hit. They don't know how to head hunt anymore. They don't know how to. I'm going to read you a quote, Fowler. I'm going to read you a quote.
Okay.
And Tommy will know who had this quote. But I want to give just the rest of your show tonight to you callers. I want to ask if they'll remember who said this. I'm going to read it to you, Fowler. I don't care how much talent a team has. If the boys don't think tough, practice tough, and live tough, how can they play tough on Saturday? Now, that's a quote from one of the greatest coaches ever played the game, or coached the game, or played the game.
Who is that?
I don't know if you know who said it. But Tommy, I'm sure Tommy will know. But I ain't telling you no more of that. All I'm telling you is Bama needs to damn fire the Bull, Sheridan, and Womack. Get rid of all of them. Promote Shepard up there. Let him be the interim coach so they can hire another one. I'm tired of this crap, fella. And here's another thing. If we go in and lose to the Cal College Saturday, I'm done calling the show. I'm done. I'm laying it all on the line. It's up to Alabama. Your people probably pull from Auburn to win, but I want Alabama to win so I can stay on the line with you. But I'm leaving it.
So
I'm tired of watching this.
This is a
tired of watching this Alabama team. Okay. Fowler, everything I saw is just pitiful, pitiful. I'm done. I'm tired.
How do you think they'll respond?
Who, Alabama?
Sure.
They're playing the Cal College. They better damn win, Fowler. Or you won't be hearing Bama Nick on your show no more. I'm putting it all on the line, Fowler.
Man, this is hard right here. I'm not sure you should do this.
Well, I'm so tired and fed up with the way they play and the coaches and no adjustments they make. I'm just tired of it. I don't know what the problem is with them coaches, but they all need to go. Start over. I ain't seen a team like this since Coach Saban's first year when I had to suffer through that. And then again with Dubose, suffering through that crap. I done seen them all, fella. I can't take it no more. Tired of it. Tired of seeing us get beat by subpar teams. And we should be beating the hell out of them every Saturday.
I mean, they had 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama. You don't think that made a difference?
It didn't. With a 5-5 team, fella, they could have had 2 months to prepare for us. We should have still beat them. 42-0.
The SEC officials screwed us.
Fella, yeah, they made bad calls, but hell, they made bad calls in other games involving other teams this year. Sankey's an idiot. He's the idiot. They don't get them SEC officials in a room and say, look, and start fining them or firing them or spinning them or whatever when they make a stupid airbrain calls. I don't even know if they'd have gave Ryan the touchdown. I don't even know if it would have mattered. We was down 24-3. It would have been 24-10 probably. Hell, I don't think we could have come back and even done any better. How did we give up 24 points?
We threw interceptions, 3 of them.
There you go, Fowler. There you go. And how many was a pick six? Was it 2 of them?
1, but 1 was a short
1.
field.
Yeah, and then that lack of Mill Road and not even try to tackle the boy and at least knock him out of bounds. That's it. That's why it comes to toughness, Fowler. That's all I can say, Fowler. I'm tired, and Captain's telling me quit ranting and raving. I'm going to get a heart attack.
I mean, I didn't know you were a quitter.
Hell, I didn't quit. Alabama quit. Their players quit.
But
I ain't quit.
You said if they don't win Saturday that you're quitting.
I'm laying it all on the line, Fowler. I'm laying everything on the line. Maybe if they listen to this call, which I don't know how many of them listen to your show, maybe they'll hear that and inspire their asses to start playing like a Alabama football team is played.
If you could tell
they're
them,
they're getting too fat on NIL money.
If you could tell them one thing, what would you say?
I say get your asses up and start playing like you're an Alabama football player and get some pride and tradition in yourself. Go back to all them trophies. Go back to the trophy room. Look at the trophies. And steal some pride. Get some pride back. Get some toughness back. If they don't, if they keep DeBoer next year, he needs to load all their asses up and take them down to Junction, Texas, and find out who wants to play.
I think you're going to find that out. Listen, I think you're going to find that out Saturday at 2:30. You're going to find out who wants to wear that crimson jersey, who's earned the privilege of wearing that crimson jersey.
Exactly, fella. And the ones that don't, and if we get beat,
show them the laptop to put their name.
Show them the damn door.
Well, I mean, I'm saying it. I'm just saying it in a different way. I'm saying put your name in the portal. Here you go. All right.
Yeah.
Bama Nick, I need a score. So here's all down to it.
Yeah, here's all down to it. Alabama, if they play Milrose Saturday, we ain't going to score more than 3 touchdowns. So I'm going to say 21-15.
21-15, Jalen Milroe passing numbers.
If he don't do no better than he did at Oklahoma, I'll give him 132.
Bama Nick, you sound...
Hell, he only had 164 yards, I think, passing against Oklahoma.
You sound mad.
I am mad, Fowler. I can't take this crap no more. And by the way, congratulations to Greg in Athens. He won your parlay pick contest, and that's another thing, fella. When are you having the parlay picks this week? Of course, it won't matter. Well, yeah, it matter. I'll get one more call in before the game Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be Friday. I mean, we'll be here Friday.
Yeah, that's what
we're not going anywhere. I mean, it's Iron Bowl week. I mean, we're putting in the work.
Yeah, but normally you have the parlay picks Thursday and Friday, but I know it's Thanksgiving.
No, we didn't do that last week. We just did that because the basketball game was cut short a couple of weeks ago. But Bama Nick, it's not All right. I got to run, Bama Nick. I got to run, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know it. Now, Tommy, Fowler, this is a rat call. When I call and give a rat, it's heard throughout the nation.
I mean, throughout the world is this call.
Throughout the world, Fowler. All right, Ryan, I know you got to go. You got other callers. But I had to say what I had to say. Fire them all.
Fire them all.
If we lose Saturday, fire them all. I don't give a damn who you got to start with. Start with the straight coach.
Come on, Bama Nick.
Happy Thanksgiving, Fowler.
Happy Thanksgiving. Piano Man, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Piano Man, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Bama Nick is my hero.
He's your hero? Bama Nick's your hero? He's your hero? Why?
Bama Nick, he tells it like it is. He don't cut any corners. He don't pull any punches. It is what it is with Bama Nick. And so that's why I'm glad to come behind him, because I sort of feel the same way.
Man, I mean, y'all gonna put me out of the unemployment lines, what it sounds like.
You know, I sort of feel the same way. At some point, when do you start making adjustments?
Here,
let me.
I want to practice real quick, Piano Man, because I'm looking for a job. You want fries with that?
And make them spicy, please.
Can I get you a milkshake, Piano Man? I mean, I got to practice here because you guys are going to put me in the unemployment line.
Large vanilla, please.
Okay, thank you. I get you one of those.
Yes, sir. I'm serious.
I put napkins and ketchup in the bag.
Yes, plenty of napkins and put some pepper in it.
Okay.
Salt and pepper.
Okay, got it. It's in the bag.
Fries hot, please.
Thank you, sir.
Tip is on my card. Just for Ryan.
So what do you think how do you think this team is going to respond? I mean, they've heard the noise. They've heard the negative side of it.
I'm going to say this, and it's a wonder Bama Nick didn't bring it up, and I hadn't been too long got on. But with the injuries, the injury bug is killing us too. And those guys look lost out there Saturday. So you can't look lost. You got to know your role. You got to know where you're supposed to be. You can't just depend on the defense. You can't just depend on Jihad Campbell to do everything. It takes a team. It's all units.
And you know, we don't discuss that enough when you look at injuries. I mean, they've taken another season-ending injury with Deontay Lawson. That's huge. The signal caller on the defense, the same thing as the signal caller on the offensive side of the football. You go down.
He's the quarterback.
He is. Sure he is.
He's the quarterback. But the question is now, who's going to be the next quarterback? Who's going to come in and do that job? And I mean, do it effectively. And then I'm with Bama Nick again. There's no intensity. Soft. No intensity. And when you lack intensity, you lack smartness. You don't play smart. And that's something that Coach Saban, and I'm from the Bear Bryant days, those are they believed in intensity. You walked in with a fire under your behind. Man, Auburn's not supposed to be talking that smack about Ryan Williams and whatever he said. Man, they're not supposed to be talking that. I mean, I understand that's our rival, but that should be the last thing come out your mouth that he's not a difference maker or whatever it was that. I mean, they don't respect. We lost to Vandy, we lost to Tennessee, we lost to Oklahoma, and the thing about it is we lost those games and didn't look good in none of them. When the games that we lost, we deserved to lose because we played half speed, we didn't have any intensity, we looked lost at times, we didn't make adjustments, so we deserved to lose. And so when it comes down to this playoff thing, we need to stop talking about it and just focus on Auburn. Because I think that's what happened in the Oklahoma game. We're focused too much on the wrong thing instead of focusing on what's ahead of us. So I agree with Bama Nick.
All right, Piano Man, here we go. Give me a score. What do you think? How do you think they will respond? Now it's pencil and paper. Talk to me.
34-17.
34-17. I assume Alabama, but I've got to ask.
Bama.
Okay. Jalen Milroe, how is he going to respond to this criticism?
I'm going to give him 150 a yard.
Ooh.
Pass.
150 even?
150 even.
Got it. Thank you, Piano Man.
And before I go, Brian, happy Thanksgiving to you. Brother, you've been a great inspiration. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I might not call all the time, but when I do, man, it's such an honor and it's a pleasure. And I'm still looking forward to going hunting and fishing with you. Man, just let me know.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And don't leave us now. Don't leave us now. Don't leave me. I wouldn't be good at putting fries in the bag. I mean, listen, I'd probably get punched in the mouth because I don't know if I'd have that customer service. I wouldn't get very many tips. I can tell you that.
Well, and Ryan, what I'm going to do, I'm going to email you, and because I have something else to tell you, but I'm going to tell you off the air. But I think you're going to be excited.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Let me put you on hold and let Jaisha give you my email. I don't want to say it on the air.
Okay.
All right.
Roll Tide, brother.
Piano Man, Jaisha, give him my real email. I know I've got the one that I use that gets flooded with everybody signing up for all kind of junk. But give him my real email. Let's break right here. If you want me to, I'll come over and do it in a couple seconds. We'll come back. AC in Bangladesh, Jared in Houston, Texas, David here in Tuscaloosa. Over, huh?
If you want to. And something about the yardage or whatever, I'll give that to.
Yeah, that would be Jalen Milroe's passing numbers. Where do you want to go?
Oh, I'm sorry, passing number. I'm sorry, 266.
266?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Mr. Fowler, I warned you in September, but you did not believe me. I warned you last Friday. Again, you did not believe me. I told you Oklahoma was going to beat Alabama. I told you this twice. I told you, but you never took my word, man. So my question is, why didn't you take my word? I warned you.
I was in denial.
That's right. Because you were so, matter of fact, I don't blame you completely. I blame Mr. Josh for all of this. He was so hyped. We're going 12-0. We're going to win the national championship. Sure. You laid an egg, and I hope you don't lose your Iron Bowl, because if you lose, according to Bama Nick, he's going to quit the show, and I don't want that. Because there's another prediction I gave you. It's been a long time. Ohio State is going to raise the trophy. They're going to beat Michigan. Well, they're going to demolish. I'm sorry?
No, I mean, they went out and spent the money to win a national title, and I think Ryan Day there's some pressure there, right? I mean, there's some pressure to him win a national title.
That's right. So this season, Ohio State is going to win the national championship. If there's an injury, of course, it's a different story. If it's a healthy team, I guarantee an Ohio State national championship. They're going to beat Michigan so bad, Oregon Ducks, they're going to feel the pain, and then they're going to go to Big Ten championship. They'll slaughter Oregon Ducks. They'll get into the playoffs. They'll demolish whoever they want to, even if it's a puppy dog, whoever it is, even Texas, doesn't matter. I am confident Ohio State is going to get it done. I mean, there's no Alabama. Georgia's not playing too good. I mean, who's out there to stop them other than the Oregon Ducks, other than Ohio State stopping themselves, Mr. Fowler? Who's out there? Please help me with this.
I think it was a big jumbled up mess. I was asked the question on another radio show earlier today, which team out of the SEC could win a national title? I'm not sure there is one.
Nobody.
So by default, the two teams that you mentioned, probably if they can navigate the injuries and stay away from the injury bug, they've got a chance.
That's right. Because Ole Miss, they had a legitimate shot to get to the playoffs. They lost to Florida. I don't know. Let me ask you a question. Which one is worse? Florida beating Ole Miss, or is it Oklahoma beating Alabama? Let me ask you this question.
I don't know. It's a toss-up. I mean, you could flip heads or tails, and you could probably make an argument either way.
Well, in terms of performance, Bama scored only 3 points. I mean, you cannot score 3 points against your arch rival this coming Saturday because they put up 40-some points and they lost to Texas A&M. Did I get that right? They did lose to Texas A&M.
Auburn?
So, yeah, didn't they lose to Texas A&M?
No, they beat Texas A&M. Beat them in overtime.
Oh, okay. Whatever that is. Regardless, they're not going to win this Saturday. They're average, below average, sore losers. It's not Cam Newton anymore. We know that. That time is over. Kick 6 is way over. You're not going to win the national championship anytime soon. But Ohio State is getting it done. So I have a message for Mr. Digger. I hope you take care of Texas A&M. I hope there's a matchup between Ohio State and Texas. They're going to slaughter that Bevo. I'm going to feast my Thanksgiving meal with that little ugly Bevo. Love you, bro. Holla.
Thank you. 205-342-9904. Jared, Houston, Texas. Jared, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Man, how do I always get stuck behind that train wreck?
How'd you like to be on my end?
Oh, God dang. I think I lost 15 IQ points listening to that on hold. Holla. What's that? Oh, jeez.
He's talking about he wants to, down in the holla. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's down in the holler. He don't know what a holler is. You think they got hollers in Bangladesh?
There's moments when I look at myself and I say I'm not paid enough money. That's one of those.
You're not. I'll tell you right now, you're not. You got to listen to that. And what's this with Bama Nick? He's gonna be a quitter now.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, he's a quitter. Sounds like he's a quitter. Win or I'm gonna quit. Man. Golly, man. Everybody just chill out. Alabama's gonna take care of business this weekend. I don't think there's any more motivating factor for them than getting their tail kicked by Oklahoma. I think that's the motivating factor. They walked out of there with their tails between their legs and said, "Man, we cannot let this happen again."
Yeah.
It's just the injuries hurt you, but it's a pride thing. It's who's going to step up and who's going to have a little bit of pride and who's going to get it done. I think Alabama's going to have a big weekend this weekend.
What do you think?
Well, I think my prediction's Alabama 38, Auburn 13.
38-13?
Yep.
And we're going Jalen Milroe passing numbers. Where do you want to go?
320. Okay. I think you're going to see some. I think you're going to see some traditional run come back this week. I think you're going to see the running backs get the ball. I think you're going to see some play action. I think that's right now with what we have, and you're going to see Milroe scramble some out of the pocket.
You mentioned play action. Auburn's 50th in the country in stopping the pass.
I know.
There's some money to be made there.
There's a lot of money to be made there, man. Look, it's like your boy yesterday said. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Martin Houston. We're getting 5 yards of carry with the running backs against Oklahoma. If you see that and figure that out, why don't you just pound in the rock and go and play action? I think that's a great plan. I agree with Martin Houston, and I think that they're going to see that. I think that when they watched the film, they saw what they were doing running the football with the running backs, and I think you're going to get some play action pass this week. Because that is going to be more of a Kalen DeBoer style offense. Play action, pocket pass. You might get some scrambles out of the pocket from Milroe for some yards, but I think the quarterback design runs are going to be cut to a minimum because I think that's what Auburn's trying to prepare for. We got to get Law involved. We got to get Kobe Prentice involved. We got to get Jeremy Bernard involved. Ryan Wynn. We got Caleb Odom. We've got capable receivers, man.
We do.
Plenty capable. But you have to set them up for success. And when you're one dimensional and they're stacking the box, our 5 was going against their 8 all night Saturday.
It's not a winning combination, is it, Jared?
It's not. No, and they're not when their 8 are elite. Their 8 are elite, and we had our 5 going against their 8, and you can't get everybody blocked. You can't get everybody blocked. So we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. We're going to have to pound the football up the middle with the running backs, and we're going to have to run the play action pass. And I think if they'll do that, they'll have some success. Because Auburn's not a pass; they're not good at defending the pass at all. So that's my theory. That's what I think they're going to go to. I think they watched the film from Oklahoma. They watched the film from, the last 3 or 4 games. Our running backs have had success. Jalen Milroe had a big game against LSU, but our running backs ran the ball well in that game too. So, you got to run the ball between the tackles, bounce it outside every once in a while once you've established your run, and, get the play action pass going and play a little bit of defense. I think we'll have some success this weekend.
Yeah. And listen, I understand that it was an overtime game, 4 overtimes, but when you look at the Auburn Tigers, there was some yards to be made on the ground too. I mean, this Auburn defense they have worn out as the season has progressed because of the lack of offensive, sustainability. I mean, the time of possession is one of the worst out there. I mean, they're not very good in that department. And listen, I just and I may be shocked, and you may have crow on Saturday for me to eat, and if it is, then Monday I'll do an all-you-can-eat buffet. But Peyton Thorne,
I'll take my crow too. Take my crow too. But I'm with you. Thorne ain't the guy.
Yeah, Peyton Thorne coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
No, I'm not buying it. Alabama's going to get a big win this weekend. They're fired up. The locker rooms, from what I'm hearing, the locker room's pretty tight. Practices have been going well. The energy's good. They understand what's ahead of them, and I feel like Alabama's going to have a big game on Saturday.
All right, I got you. 38-13, 320. I got you, Jared. Thank you, man.
Roll Tide, brother.
Right back.
Hey, I ain't quitting. I ain't a quitter.
No, I don't expect you to. Never have, never will.
I ain't a quitter. Nope, you got it, brother. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Let's go 205-342-9904. JR, Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Ryan. Well, I was fussing at you a little bit.
That's fine. I was fussing at you, too.
Why?
I mean, because I came to you and I couldn't hear you. All I could hear was some cats in the background.
No, I was at a store, and this lady had asked me a question. I was asking her something. I hadn't been away from the phone 10 seconds. And I heard you, and I came back and said, hey, and you hung up.
We couldn't hear you, man. I mean, I had to move on. I don't have another choice. I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah, but how many times have I heard you do the same thing with other callers? You go, you call right back, we'll get you right back on. But I call right back. I was like on the phone. I even had my own hang-up. Must have had my own hang-up because I got exactly the first time I tried.
Give me a score, JR. I'm ready to move on. But go ahead.
Goodbye.
Okay. No problem. I mean, you want to give a score, you're welcome to. Quick Dave, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Brian, how's everything going, my friend?
I'm good. Better than JR.
Hey, I heard that. I'm going to say 45.
Like I said, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I come to you and you're not there. What am I supposed to do? So,
who, me?
No, JR. He got a little upset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's got his panties in a wad. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, he'll get over it. Get over it. He blamed it on 10 seconds there, helping a lady. Well, it'll happen every now and then, JR. But anyway, I'm going to say, look, Alabama fans need to come to the stadium with positive energy. That being said, I'm going 45-10. And I'm going to go.
Hold on, quick, Dave. That sounds like a Dawson score right there to me.
Oh, hey, look, I'm not as good as Dawson, but you know what? I go back. I'm an old timer. I go back when Muhammad Ali, his name was Cassius Clay, and you can call him Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali. But me and a few buddies went to the Coliseum. I think we paid $15 to get in. It was probably on. I don't know. What do they call that thing when they put it on the big screen?
Oh, just like closed captioning, where they
yeah.
It was called closed circuit TV.
It's closed circuit. But anyway, me and a few buddies went down there to the Coliseum, and I was pulling for old Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, and they were pulling for Joe Frazier. And I mean, Frazier, and, just tied him up. He lost that, but he came back, 2 more times with it. Point being, you can't go back in time. Would have been, could have been, should have been, if I knew then what I know now, Milrose, I think Milrose going to be on his game for Saturday. I really do.
I think he's going to respond. I think he's a ultimate competitor. I think he's heard the noise, and I think you're going to see him respond. I don't think he's going to be, down in the dumps. We'll see. I mean, I can't predict it because I just don't know. But I watched him for 2 years. I think he'll respond in a positive way.
Now, if you knew and I knew, we'd bet some money and we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I if we had the crystal ball. But I'm going to put my confidence in Milroe. But like I said, I don't know how to explain it. But they need to come with positive energy. And if they come, crying and all that, they need to just stay out of the stand and let Milroe take care of it.
All right. And let's go 45-10. Let's go to Jalen Milroe passing numbers. Where do you want to go?
I'm going to go, I'm probably bidding low. I'm going to go 279.
279. I like that. Quick, Dave. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. We're doing a Southern Ale House score prediction day. I want to remind you about the pharmacy at Midtown. Some of our folks could probably definitely use that. The pharmacy at Midtown, keeping customer service a priority. It's 205-752-0627. 205-752-0627. It's the pharmacy that I use. Independent-owned pharmacy specializing in walk-in prescriptions, medicine on time, packaging, compounding needs. It is the pharmacy at Midtown with T.J. Thomas. We'll continue. Jumbo, get ready. There's a little girl that's on TikTok, and I don't even know who she is, but I got a buddy of mine that sends me the video, and she says, I was Alabama yesterday, I'm Alabama today, and I'll be Alabama tomorrow. And I love that clip. I don't even know if I can find that girl, but I'm telling you, the little bitty kid, she was talking about being picked on at school, and she said, I'll tell you, I'm Alabama yesterday, I'm Alabama today, and I'll be Alabama tomorrow. I wish I could. I
love it.
I mean, because it's so true. I mean, some of you, listen, has it been the season that we wanted? No, I didn't expect we'd lose 3 games. Did not. Especially after we opened up a can of Georgia and whipped them here. But am I giving up on Kalen DeBoer? Am I giving up on this coaching staff? No. I think we've had to recalibrate our eyes. I think we've had to look at the new college football. I mean, I just did something, the hardest thing I've done in forever. I work for Tide 100.9, but I just released the rankings for the AJC paper, which I do every week. I had to come up with a ranking from 1 to 16 in the power ranking. You realize how hard that is in the final week of the regular season in the SEC? It is a jumbled up big old mess. It is. I mean, yeah.
Who is really good? Who's really bad?
Because we've all beat up on each other. We have whipped each other.
Exactly.
I mean, we know Mississippi State's at the bottom and Texas is at the top. Fill in the rest.
I think on any given day, going back to what I said, this is the new NFL light. What happens in the NFL? Majority of the time, home team wins. Doesn't matter how good you are or how bad you are. Usually, home team wins.
Yeah.
Unless you're just pathetic. And that's where we're at. This is what we're going to have to get used to. Welcome to this 12-team playoff that has created this jumbled up mess. Welcome to the NFL. That's what we have.
Fair enough.
Like it or not, we are here.
Well, and I said this.
I'm done for my rant.
I said this in the 2:00 hour, and I'll say it again. I gotta get to the break.
I know.
I think from a character standpoint, I think we've got the right guy. How would you like to know that you're Auburn, who went out and hired a morally bankrupt coach who has done everything that you could possibly imagine, and you're winning at all costs? How would you like to look at yourself in the mirror, to look in the mirror and say, I've got a wife and daughter, but I'm going to support somebody who takes advantage of women. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Hard pass.
And listen, if Alabama had hired Hugh Freeze, I'd have put my stuff in a box and I'd have dropped it off at Greg Byrne and I'd have said, Greg, I've been a lifelong Alabama fan. Here's my stuff. No more.
Exactly.
And because but Auburn is a different winning at all costs program. That's who they've been. That's who they will continue to be. I can't pull for Hugh Freeze because I don't think he's learned his lesson. I don't think he's truly apologized for what he put a lot of ladies through at Oxford, Mississippi. And you know, you get over there and you go into some weeds and you talk to people. I don't think we only know half the story. I think this guy's a snake oil salesman. I think he's a fraud. I wouldn't let my son, I don't have a son, I wouldn't let him play for him. Ain't no way. Ain't money let Hugh Freeze. I got a nephew, though. I doubt he'll play football, but I wouldn't let him play. I wouldn't want him in the same building as this guy. Roll Tide.
I'm there with you. Roll Tide. 24-13, 198.
24-13, 198. Greg, thank you, man. And hey, listen.
Roll Tide, my brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Let's continue. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll take. We're going to hand off to the CTSN network coming up. It's Alabama and Houston. We'll get you ready out in Las Vegas. Alabama's the underdog, about 2.5 points. We'll do that coming up in a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. Let's go to Todd. Todd, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, my friend, Mr. Ryan Fowler. I have to take my hat off to you, my brothers, for listening to all them full moon callers out there. There's nothing scares me more than any game every year, every season, and that is the Iron Bowl. Auburn will take Alabama down to the wire. It doesn't matter if they're 0-10 or if they're undefeated. It doesn't matter if Alabama's 0-10 or if they're undefeated. It always goes down to the wire. This one right here, it just, you know, it. And after I seen what happened Saturday night, it's just scratching my head on how Alabama can play that poorly the whole game from start to finish. Man, it was just. So I'm sure there's a lot of fans that are just speechless and don't even know what to say. They're just hurt, and just lashing out. And can you imagine how those players felt coming home from that game, Ryan?
Yeah, wow. Wow. Speechless, yeah. And I hope they respond in a different way. I know when I failed an exam, I know I got my butt back in the books and the notes and front row of the class. I mean, I hope, you know, they take that same attitude. Hey, Todd, I'm just about out of time right here. Can you give me a score?
Yes, sir, man. I hate to say this, but it's going to be 21-20. I'm going to roll with a tie at Alabama. I think it's going to be a 1-point game, and let's go with let's give Mr. Milroe. Let's give him about 250 in passing yards.
I like it. I think they'll get the job done. Todd, thank you, man.
Have a good one.
Right back to you. Let's go to Cowboy. Cowboy, let it rip. Go.
Hey, Ryan, I heard you tell that guy in your talk with him, the caller before that guy that went on the break, that you're Alabama till you die, this, that, the other. And then you said you would go back and turn in all your Alabama stuff if they would have hired Hugh Freeze.
I would have, but I ain't got to worry about that.
No, wait a second, Ryan. You can't do that. You can't do that. You're preaching unity, and then you went right against it.
Well, I trust Greg Byrne wouldn't have hired a guy that was morally bankrupt.
I know, but Ryan, you made yourself sound like you're a hypocrite. You say one thing, then you go to another. If you got to support Alabama, whoever the coach is, Ryan. Isn't that what you were saying? And then you went against it. I would have had
major levels of difficulty to support Hugh Hefner. Yes, I would have.
Well, I understand what you're saying there, Ryan, but you didn't listen to what you said. You were just babbling.
Well,
kind of like a talking head. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess I'm accused of being a talking head.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to give me a score?
I mean, Ryan, I got you, buddy. I nailed you last week, but I nailed you again.
That's okay.
You might not. I might be the name Cowboy, but Cowboy coming on the horse with his ears open.
He did.
I got you. I got you.
Hey, I admit.
Hey, we have entered the ding, 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 ding.
You crazy.
We've entered the Twilight Zone, Ryan.
Give me a score. Hurry. I got to run. If you want to give me a score, if not, I got to go. I got to get to Crimson Tide Sports Network.
A score, 5 overtime, and we're still stuck at 41-41.
That boy right there, 41. All right. Be good, Cowboy. Roll Tide. I'll write down 41-41. Ellis, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't get to it. Trying to get a score out of him was like impossible. Ellis, please call back tomorrow. Got a big show lined up for you back tomorrow. Reminding you that we call this program The Game. You all know that you win a big game, the game of life. To walk daily with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Good night, T-Town.